Right, folks, let's hope that all sets itself up nicely. 1832, not too bad for me, I think. It's been far too long. I did a live stream on Tuesday with Reese or at Chick Paints, but it's been far too long for me to get cracking on with this guy. So I am back to my usual streaming program. So thank you for joining me. I've already got some people in the YouTube chat. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Who have we got? We got Reese and we got Justin. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll get cracking on ever so shortly. Do a quick shout out to my third tier Patreons, Tim and Wayne. Thank you very much. And a bit of a shout out to Reese, who had to stop doing Patreon, but she wants to help support me via PayPal. All the links are in the description below, so thank you very much for that. But don't feel pressured to do that. I'm still going to be here every week, so there's that. So we're going to get cracking on with this guy tonight. If you're following on Twitch, say hello. Thank you very much. And I also did forget that I do need to get the Facebook chat ready to go as well. So if you're joining me along on Facebook as well, then feel free. Let's just do that. Feel free to join in at the same time. So yeah, we're going to get cracking with this Imperial Death Lord. I don't know how much we're going to get done tonight, but hopefully it'll be a while. Hopefully we'll get him done fairly soon. I want to move on. I've got some. I've got the hair to do. We've got the part of his face to finish off. We've only got a few bits and pieces to do on this guy. Actually, he's almost done. We have some purity seals and so on to get done, but on the whole, I think he's coming together really nicely. So I'm just making sure that everything is set up, ready to go. I really wish that my encoder would allow me to get all of that ready to go before we start. So, hello, haha, it's Thursday. We're gonna get cracking on with this guy. I did only just start getting ready to do this about 10 minutes ago, so I'm a little bit all over the place. But thank you for joining me, and we're gonna get cracking on with this guy. I do need to turn on the light as well, so if you just bear with me, let's change the camera angle there. There we go. Right. So how are we all this evening? We are, how are we doing? Oh, we got anything on the, have anybody got anything on the bench? What are you painting tonight while I'm going along doing this guy? This guy's still blue tacked together, so that's fine. What I'm going to do at the beginning of the show is I'm actually going to add some texture paint to the base here, because it's going to take some time for it to dry. It won't be dry by the end of the show, but we'll add some Gremlin Earth to this. Actually, no, I won't. I'll leave that for videos. I'm going to use my own Gremlin Earth, which is this Crackle Medium I bought. It's a lot cheaper than Gremlin Earth. It does the same thing. You just colour it. It comes. This is, what colour is this? This was white. I just coloured it. That's looking a bit funky. Ugh, what's that on there? Is that just a separation of colour? I hope it is. It's not mouldy, is it? Does paint go mouldy? I don't think it does. Right, let's get... what do I want to do? I want to get rid of that bit there. Oh, this is a good start to the show, isn't it? Command Rhino. Yeah, I saw a picture of the side of that. I think you put a picture up on one of the Facebook groups, didn't you? Don't forget, if you want to share anything while I'm live, feel free to hashtag it on any of the social medias. Be of OPS Live, which is in the top corner there, just there. Hashtag it with that. Let me know your hashtag. I can have a look. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to pop them up on the screen just yet. I would be nice to be able to let people show off the work that they're working with. But yeah, we'll probably figure out a way of doing that at some point. What are we going to use? We're going to use big thing here. I'm just going to grab some of this stuff and just plonk it in here. Just add some of this crackle medium to this base. And this will all crackle up and add some really nice texture to this base. At the minute is a little bit, well, a bit two-dimensional. I do need to keep that clear. That's where his foot goes. Just add some of this crackle paint just to break up some of the texture that comes on this base. I'm not really a fan of resin bases. I like constructing the bases all to myself. Which has a little segue. Keep an eye on my channel because I'm going to start a new series of basing techniques in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. And have people been talking about the people been watching the YouTube videos about the Plague Marine? How have people been liking that? If there's any comments, feel free to throw them down. I'm always looking for ways of improving what I'm dishing out around here. So if anybody's got any suggestions or comments, feel free to throw them down on any of the social media platforms. Now, what I do need to do is, in White Dwarf, in, what is it, December of 2017, there was a really cool paint recipe in the back of it. I keep all of my White Dwarfs that I buy. So when they released the Lieutenant for Lieutenant, is it Lieutenant for the Blood Angels, they gave us this really cool recipe for blonde hair, because obviously all of the Blood Angels have got blonde hair. So I'm going to, the show tonight, I'm going to start on adding the blonde hair to this guy. So we will get cracking on with that. I'm just going to re-blue tack this guy together here. And we'll start adding the blonde hair to him. And we start with Xandri Dust, if I can find it. There we go. Starting with Xandri Dust. So very carefully, I'm going to start adding the blonde hair. Now, I can't remember last week whether I actually did the highlighting on the skin. I don't think I did, so we'll get on with that as well shortly. I didn't highlight any of the facial features. But for now, we're just going to give this guy's blonde hair, block that in. I need to get very careful with this model now, because we are starting to block in a lot of the finer details. This guy is close to being finished. There isn't a huge amount left that we need to do for him. It's been an absolute pleasure painting this guy though. I was having a conversation with Reese the other day about how I'm not particularly happy with Forge World models, specifically the older models that they do, because as time goes on the molds get terrible and in general the quality isn't there. Now I'll admit I've never bought a new Forge World model, so I don't know just how quality the resin is and the molds are, but I've had an absolute pleasure painting this guy. He's been all the details so crisp and clean. It has kind of put my faith in resin models again, just maybe not Forge World models. My patrons have already pretty much figured out what they want me to paint next. However, I'm always open for suggestions about what the next model should be or could be. So you can always throw down your suggestions or what you might like to see me do. It could make its way to the shortlist easy enough. Right, there we go. So that's the hair blocked out. It is really coming together now. I'm really excited to get this guy done. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to start blocking in some of the highlights for the skin that we did last time round. So I'm going to come in with the heavy skin tone again that we used to block it out just before we washed it. And we're going to come in and start highlighting the skin. Or more to the point, this is more of a layer. Painting in all of the details that are on the skin, missing the shadows that have formed in the recesses. And then we'll come in with a highlight and then another fine highlight on this guy, I think. A bit of a shaky hand tonight. It's going all over the place. think that's the first highlight. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll bring this right up to the camera so you can see. Just bring that right up there, and then we'll bring in the focus so you can really see how that has turned out. Are we ready? Let's bring the focus in there. Bring it into focus. Oh, how close is that? There we go, look at that. That's pretty awesome if you ask me. I like that. So, let's get cracking with the rest of it. So what I'm going to do now is at about a 50-50 mix, I'm going to bring in some flat flesh onto the palette. And I'm going to grab some of the heavy skin tone that we had, some of this flat flesh, and about 50-50 we're going to mix that up. Thank you very much, Stephen. He's looking pretty good, isn't he? I've really enjoyed painting this Warlord, Imperial Death Lord. He has been an absolute pleasure model. It's been fantastic. So we're just going to come in with this and just grab the eyebrows there. Well, I say the eyebrows. I'm not painting eyebrows on him. Just along the brow there. Right, well, the Conquest magazine isn't going to happen on Monday, I'm afraid. I've had a message. They're not even dispatching the magazine until Monday. So it could be a week after that. It could be a week on Monday before this. So that'll be 2 weeks without a Conquest magazine show, I'm afraid. But keep an eye on my Facebook feed, my Instagram feed. You'll get notified as soon as they arrive through my door, and as soon as they are, the following Monday will be the next Conquest magazine show. Unfortunately, with the way that these hatchet partworks work, they want to start getting as many people involved as they can, which means they give it a decent lead in. Unfortunately, that then means that people are waiting, especially if they come in at the very beginning. They end up waiting for a lot. So yeah, there won't be a show on Monday for Conquest, but keep an eye on all of my social media feeds, and you will be told as soon as they arrive. Popping down some of this flesh mix onto the higher areas of the model. So we're going along the brow, along the nose, pick out the lips, pick out his cheekbones. It's like the line of the cheek going along there. We're going to bring along his along the crease on his forehead. so. And we're just building up some colour in his eyes. I want to do something about his eyes. I want to build up the colours lightening as they go along. So, and then come back in with the just this plain flat flesh. We'll go along the bridge of that nose there, along the brow there. Those highlights, cheek, just the top of that cheekbone, there, and just the bottom lip there. And then bring that to a point. I really got to get a fine point on this brush. There we go. Should we give you a close-up of that now? Let's bring in the focus. Let's bring that up nice and close. Here we go. Ready? Where's the focus point? Not sure we've got such good light on this guy at the minute. But we've got some decent colour going on there. Right. Looks ace, thank you very much. So, what I want to do is I need to bring in an off-white, which is... No, I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to start washing the hair, which is with Seraphim Sepia. Get their hair washing. The teeth are going to need to be done at another time. I'll do later, because I will paint the teeth in the same colour that the highlight of the hair is. So we'll leave that for a minute. Come in with Seraphim Sepia on the hair. So, and right, so what I do want to do as well, I want to do something special with these eyes of his. So let's bring in some white. Every girl's excuse. What have I said? What did I say? I don't know what I said now. What's every girl's excuse? Use the white straight from the pot, so I'm going to wipe off a lot of it on the side of the pot. I literally just want a drop going in here. Oh, washing his hair. Right, okay. Alright, so I'm going to try something I've not done before here. I bought the technical paint, this Nighthawk Gloom from GW. You see it's been sat there for a while, it's separated. I'm going to try something here and we'll see if it works. I'm going to try and use this stuff as kind of like a psychic kind of colour around his eyes. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's the whole point of this Thursday show. I'm supposed to have a look. I'm supposed to try new things. Now this is this Nighthawk Gloom. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm hoping that it's going to be semi-transparent. Whether it is or not is another matter, and I could end up just trashing his face with this stuff. I'm hoping I add a little bit to my palette, I can paint this on and then it will dry semi-transparent. If not, I'm going to have to paint the face again, which I will then do off camera. I won't make you have to sit here watching me paint his face again. I'm hoping that that's going to dry semi-transparent. So we'll have to see what happens. I might have to come in there with Guilliman blue glaze instead. But we shall see. We shall see what happens. But one thing I do want to do is get Guilliman blue glaze anyway, and I'm going to start doing this blade here. Now again, we're going to try something. Well, I'm trying to be clever here with this, and I've got a feeling that it's either going to work brilliantly or it's going to kick me in the butt. I want to get this blue glaze in there. No, I don't. What am I talking about? No, I tell you what I'm going to do. The glaze is done after what I want to do. I want to get this nihila oxide stuff. This is what I want to do. Because this stuff kind of stands out quite nicely and it's really runny. So I'm hoping that what I can do, get some of this on a really fine tip on my brush. Oh, hi Reese. You hopped over. It doesn't look so good on Facebook though. And I want to paint this inside all of these markings on his blade, like this. And come along and add this psychic energy through this blade really carefully. Would be nice as if this stuff would run through. Why does Wayne's comments not show up on the chat? Huh. So we got this psychic, well, I like to call it the psychic energy, building up through the sword here. Got to do it on both sides as well. There we go, see, can you see that going through there? and I want to do it around was this Temple Guard blue, or the blues for the TS would look good too. For the Temple Guard blue or the blues, I don't know what you mean by the TS. Right. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. The more important part about this edge is Thousand Suns blue. I've got both of those, but the problem is not so much the colour; it's the properties of the paint. Is what I'm doing here. You could just about thin it down enough, I suppose. Notice that the detail's not quite so good on the bottom side of this sword. Doesn't really matter because you're not really going to be looking at the underside of this knife blade. But there we go, that's that there. And then just do the center hole. I really like this blade. Looks amazing. Looks proper mean. Right. Righty-ho. Right. Okay. So there's that done. And then what I'm going to do over the entire thing, I like the electrical effect of the oxide. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, that's what I'm going for, is the electrical kind of psychic energy effect. But what I'm actually going to do over the top of all of this is then I'm going to glaze it. And I'm going to glaze the entire blade. Now I'm hoping that that's dry. Let me just check. Yeah, it looks alright. It's it doesn't take a lot to dry because it's such a tiny coating. Now I'll get some of this on there. But where did I put my water? I've lost my water bottle. Ah, there it is up there. Right, let's pop some water in my palette. It's starting to dry out a little bit. Okie dokie. So, just get a tiny little bit of water into that glaze just to thin it down just a touch. I don't want it too thick. And then we're just going to glaze over the whole thing. Give it a nice blue effect. And we'll see what that looks like when it's done. Might build this up in a few layers. It's very watery, that is. I'm using a mop brush, so it's soaking up a lot of water, soaking up a lot of paint. It's not really flowing onto the model so well. So we'll see what that does when that dries. He's trying to pull a bit, so I need to keep an eye on that. It's pulling in the centre there. Nope, we're just going to end up taking all of that off, which is fine. Right, okay, different brush, that might help. Let's use a brush that's designed for it. Let's just go straight from the pot. Let's see how this goes. Ah, there we go. And because the surface is wet, it's really bleeding around, which is really good. Well, there's a new trick for you. When glazing, wet the surface first, then apply the glaze. And there we go. We've all learnt something tonight. Unless, of course, I'm really slow on the input and everybody already knew that. There we go. Oh, I like that. There we go. Right. Quit while I'm ahead. Put that up there. Okay. Now, how's those eyes doing? Not brilliant. Right, let's bring that glaze back. There we go. Right, let's try this then. Right, so we're going to wet the area. No. Too much water there now. I'm going to have to leave that to dry. Right, okay. Those eyes are going to give me a headache. Right. So we also need to do the parchment. So. Alright. Let's bring up the Citadel painting app, because I can never remember how I do my parchments. I keep forgetting. Parchment, there we go. Rack flesh, there we go. Which I've got up here. In fact, I think I've already got. No, I did have some in my palette. It's all dried up now. Right. So we have got a couple of purity seals, and we've got the book. So painting the book. And we've got purity seals as well. Back up there. Right, I'll move that off of. do need to take him off of here so we can get to this purity seal that's coming around the side here better. And again, this is why I haven't been gluing him together. This purity seal that comes right the way around here up into there. Some of this we can see hasn't been sprayed, which means it won't actually be visible. We do the whole thing anyway, just so you get all of your bases covered. Throw some more paint down at this book. It's starting to really showing through. There we go. Right. So he's really starting to come together now. Now that I think almost all of the colour has now been blocked out. Now it's just a case of we're pretty much, there's a few details left to do, but we're pretty much just finishing this guy off now. While we're waiting for that to dry, if we throw down a little bit of Macragge blue on the plasma gun. I was tempted to airbrush in the plasma gun, but considering it's just dangling by his waist, I'm really not so sure that we need to worry about an OSL effect, and also it's really small, so I'm not so sure that my airbrushing skills are quite up to scratchy just yet of adding an OSL effect to this bit here. So what we think I might do is I might just give it a bit of a dry brush. Just to spread some of the just to spread some of it around, you know, just to spread a bit of paint, just catch a little bit with a bit of blue light, rather than worrying about airbrushing it in. We've got that down there. We'll get that painted in a minute, give that to dry, and then we're going to pop on some Rhinox hide. To finish off leather, which will be his hands, because I'm going to assume his hands have got a gauntlet, he's wearing gauntlets or leather gloves. decent angle on all these curved fingers he's got down here. Wow. I am truly impressed by the level of detail of this model. It really is fantastic. We've got Rhino tie going on there. We've got what I like to think would be a leather strap holding the gun to his belt, the plasma pistol to his belt. We've still got some highlighting to do. The bones from last week, they still need highlighting. The base to finish off at some point soon as well. So we do have a little bit of work left to do on this guy. It's not like he's going to be finished in the next 10 minutes, but we are very close to finishing. We are very, very close. It could be the end of this stream. It could be finished. I suppose it all just depends on how quickly I get it painted. That glaze is now dried on that sword as well. Kind of like that nice cold steel. Might give it a quick dry brush with some Necron compound in a minute, just to pick out some of those really fine edges and give it that shine back, which I might do once I've done the brown here. Brush. I've got a lot of brushes off to the side here that could really do with a bit of a clean. So we're just gonna grab a little bit of paint. We really don't want a lot here, otherwise if I end up adding too much silver to this, it's going to ruin the effect of the of it. So we really want to just catch it ever so gently. Just along the edge. So lightly. And the same on the other side. Go. I think that will do for that. I think if I go much further than that, it's going to ruin it. So that'll be it. That's it. Okie dokie. So let's pop on some Temple Guard blue. And we're going to pop these on onto the plasma gun. Start highlighting the coils. so gently. Notice I'm only doing the tops as well. I will go down the side in a minute. Just a little ways. I think pretty much all that needs. A little bit. I did not want to go right the way down to the base of the gun. Still want to leave plenty of that McCrag blue in there. Shaky hands aren't helping. I think that will do. Have we got any white on this palette? There's no. Got some white. I don't know if I can get to it. I just want to. Just catch the top. Basically, give it a bit of an overbrush. That will do. And then to tie all three of those colours together, I'm going to give it a glaze. And that will basically just filter those three colours together. So they all work in unison. Right. Eyes. Let's get this in there. Nice fine point. Glaze those eyes. Glaze around the eyes there, just add in that blue glow up onto the brow a little bit. Yeah, once just add some colour into there, maybe a bit of temple guard blue, maybe a bit of white, and that should bring those eyes out into a real, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I need to add some more Xandri dust. I'm going to highlight with Xandri dust on the hair now. Bring some of that hair back into. I'll be a bit more careful now. We're now starting to highlight and layer this guy up. We're just going to cover up the Guanaman blue glaze there. Spilt on the hair. Excuse me. combination here of just layering it up, bit of overbrushing, and avoid those recesses where the shade is settled. Just adding in some colour back into there. Right, so we're hopping all over the model now at the minute. We're getting to the stage where there's not really a lot you can do just by settling into one area without sitting there waiting for it to dry. So we're hopping around. Am I still running on YouTube, by the way? Is it still working? Yeah, it's still working on YouTube. That's good. For some reason, it stopped on my tablet where I'm watching the comments. Okay. Yeah, I can't watch. Can't seem to be able to watch the stream. And I've also got rid of the picture off of my computer screen. There we go. Right. So we're going to add some Agrex shade to the parchment. Right, and it just went and picked up Rhinox hide. There we go. Add some shade to the book. Add some shade to the strap. And also to the leather hands or leather gloves. Look more like riding gloves on this model. I mean, they're massive gauntlets on the GW Finecast one. On this, they're more like driving gloves. It's brilliant. The Lord of Death, but he does so in style and class. There we are. Wait for that to dry. We're already at 7:30 tonight. Where does the time go? Where's my mouse? There. Okie dokie. You see that crackle paint is crackling nicely down here as well. Crackling away, giving us something a little bit different to look at, not just the base. We've got some gems and stuff to do as well actually, so I'm going to grab some Stormhouse Silver. Right. It's going to make a mess. Never mind. Right. Okay. So this is going to be used on anywhere where I want to use my gem paints. You're off, Reese. Alright, fair enough. Looking forward to seeing it on Tuesday. Yeah, you will. I think this will probably be done by then as well, actually. He's nearly done. I think he's just a few details. Yeah, I think he's pretty much done already. I'm just going to dry brush a few details on here, and I think it will be done. And then finish the base off, of course. Terminator stone is here. And we're just going to grab some of this using a regular paintbrush as a dry brush. Put some of these around the base here. Along the body. Yeah, I think I'll use a starter brush for this. One of these Citadel starter brushes, fantastic for fine detail brushwork. I'm not very good at highlighting bones with a brush, that's why I'm using the dry brush to do this instead. Getting a better finish overall. Finished here. We are very, very nearly finished. We'll get this guy finished tonight, I reckon. Right, what do we need now is we need some pallid witch flesh. give that a good shake. Right, this is going to be a layer for the parchments. So coming in with this, missing the sections where the shade settled, gave it a really good shadow. Coming in here, around all here, getting this massive scroll done. I won't do the book, I'll just do the scroll here. And then we've got the scrolls on his backpack. And then what else are we going to do? What else do we need to do? We need to do the gems, a bit of dry brushing to do on the gloves, do the gems. Right, let's get the gems done. So we're going to come in with what's this one called? Spirit Stone Red, that's the one. And this literally comes on over all of the silver. Gives us a nice shiny finish to that. Massive dead long legs buzzing around here now. I have to get rid of that. It's going to make me jog, I reckon. Where is he? I don't know where he is. He's gone. Alright, sort him out in a minute. Right, let's get some of that white done, shall we? Because that was there's a bit of white that I wanted to add to the his eyes. Oh, I did say Thousand Suns blue as well, didn't I? Temple Guard blue, maybe. Let's get this Temple Guard blue. We've got a really nice sharp point on the brush. Let me go shut my window. race car. So ever so gently. I need just a small amount of this, just on the end of the brush. In the center. I don't think that went in the center. Yeah. I don't know. That might work. Might just about work. Right. And we just need to highlight the edge of the parchment with this. Along the side here. That. And have a look around. I think it's just the gloves. Oh, hang on, I just need to give these a highlight as well, don't I? This one here. Just the gloves and a bit of gold for the book. That's it. Give them a highlight. Right. Let's. Whoops. Smacking things around with my elbow. Going to put on the gold gilding on the book. You can tell by the way I'm talking that we are so close to finishing this guy now. Almost finished. And then we will go in for, what colour do I want to do this? I think I'm looking for one of my brown dry paints, I think. Gulfag brown, there we go. So ever so gently we're going to come in with Gulfag brown on the Citadel starter brush. And we're going to ever so gently gives them a bit more of a lighter brown than I would like. I think that's the only one I've got at the moment. It's the only colour I've got to do this with. So we're just going to come in with this give that a highlight just there. Alright, so we're still waiting for the cracker paint to dry completely. So all I'm going to do there is I'm going to wait for that crackle. I'm going to wash that again, then dry brush it, and then that's pretty much done. So I think that marks the end of this show and also the end of this project. It's done. I'm pretty happy with that. That's really cool. So I'm gonna finish the base. I'll do that off camera and then glue it together, and then this guy's done. Keep an eye out on my Instagram, my Facebook, or my Twitter feeds. You'll see when this is posted. I'll post up a picture on Instagram. It will show up on Facebook, but I think Twitter just sends a link, so you just have to keep an eye on that. We'll just wait for the cracker paint to dry, and then he is done. So there we go, Wargame's exclusive model of Imperial Deathlord. I'm happy with that. I don't think I've missed anything. I'll chuff with that, don't you? I think that looks pretty cool. So there we go, that's the end of this show, and for some reason I'm not connected to any of the chat. Why am I not connected to the chat? This really does wind me up. I'm not quite sure why it keeps doing that. But yeah, so there we go. Well, thank you for joining me, Reese, and Justin, you were around at the beginning of the stream. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're watching this in the future, thank you very much for watching through it. It's been fantastic to do this. Keep an eye out for the next stream on Thursday, which will show the which will start on the next project. And for those of you who don't know, my patrons had a short list of things that they could choose from, and they've chosen this attack bike is what will be happening next week, and that will be another Blood Angels unit. We'll paint it as a Blood Angels attack bike. So yeah, you got that next week, which we'll start clipping that, building it, and you'll get to see. I will do an extra show priming it, because I don't prime on the Thursday shows, but other than that, yeah. If you want to help support the channel, if you want to see things that I wouldn't necessarily paint, maybe even start a bigger project or something big or little, big or small, doesn't really matter, feel free, have a look, check out the Patreon link at the bottom of the page if you want to help support the channel. Also, if you don't want to do that, there's also a PayPal down there as well if you want to just throw, you know, a little bit of support to the channel, and that will go straight onto some sort of equipment or models or anything to do with the channel. It's all, you know, highly appreciative, but not compulsory. Do not feel obliged to do any of that. If you don't want to, just feel free to do so at your leisure. And that just says thank you very much. Check out all the links below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button next to it, and you'll never miss a live show, and also the non-live videos that I post up during the week. So that just leaves me to say thank you for watching this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, ta-ra.